do an overview of RPR. So this is not a Coldwell Banker tool. This is a tool that's given to all of us that are part of the Greater Harrisburg Association of Realtors. So you will need to go to narrpr.com, and then you will have this screen here. If you have a login, you just go ahead and log in. If you've never used this platform before, you're going to create a new account. In doing that, it's going to ask you for your NERDS number to be able to create it. Your NERDS number is given to us by the association, hence needing to be a member to have an account here. So this is branded to Coldwell Banker and our lenders and title company as well. So it is an integrated platform. But once you have your login and password, you're going to go ahead and hit sign in here. And it's going to take you to this main page. So this is the dashboard once you initially log in. And we'll just go over some of the basics here in RPR. If you're going to use this for any types of reports or things of that nature, you're going to want to make sure that you update your profile and add a photo here. That way that will show up on the reports that you create. So the cool thing about this platform is that it not only pulls in all of Bright information, but it also pulls in all of public record information. So if you're struggling to find comps, but you know the neighbor sold their house to the other neighbor and you want that comp, it will show up in here once it's recorded at the county office. So pulls public record as well as MLS sales as well. So that's really, really cool. Being that it does pull public record, it pulls distressed properties as well. So people going through foreclosure, it will have that information in here. As you see, some shortcuts. So you can prospect for clients, you can search on a map, you can create a report, so you can create buyer and seller reports through here. There is an investor analysis as well. That's a little in depth. We're not going to touch on that at all. Opportunity zone. So areas where houses maybe aren't selling as rapidly or as many as other areas. And then creating a CMA. And then you can also, they have their own training platform in here as well. So you can go ahead and tour the homepage if you'd like. So it'll automatically pull up an area for you when you log in here. And it's just showing you what's new in this map area. So something that we can do is just search an address, right? So say I have a listing appointment and I'm going to go on that listing appointment and I want to know information about the house. So I'm just going to come up with a random 9. I'm trying to think of all right, there we go. Street, Harrisburg, PA. Looks like there might not be. There we go. All right, here we go. So I was looking for a single family house. I knew that it was a single family house. So cool thing about this, it's going to give you all the public record. It'll give you the last sold date. So this property hasn't been sold since 1991. It will give you an RVM. So this is like a Zestimate. So use caution. It's going to give you the confidence. So even if it has 5 stars and they say, yes, we are super confident in our value of this property, make sure you're doing your own homework and pulling comps for that as well. This is going to just give you a general idea, right? So this is giving you almost a $60,000 range. That's a huge difference. So be careful. It'll give you the basic facts. So it'll give you the owner's name in here as well. And then it'll give you the public record facts, square footage, bedroom, bathroom, fireplaces, if it has a basement, construction type, all of that good stuff, interior features, public record. And then it's also going to give you the legal description. So your parcel number, your county, your municipality, and all of that good stuff. It'll give you the school district here. And if the property is listed or was listed recently and it pulls that information, it'll give you the listing info as well as pulling from this source as well. So always make sure you're verifying. When I did this training live, there was a discrepancy in the elementary schools, especially with some of what Cumberland Valley is doing with their redistricting. And I know that Some of the Harrisburg schools have done the same. So just make sure you're doing your homework there when it comes to that. It'll tell you flood zone information. Obviously, some of Harrisburg is in a flood zone. This one is not. Public records. So this is something that I think is kind of cool. So it will give you, this goes away if the property is listed, but if it's not listed, you're going to have this information at your fingertips. Can you search public or county records? Of course you can, but this pulls the mortgage information for you. So even though this person bought the house in 91, looks like they got a revolving line of credit in 2021, and it'll tell you the amount of that. So it looks like they're taking out small loans, and they like Fulton Bank. And that's who they're using. And it'll also have, if there's a mortgage for the property, it will give you that information as well, what the mortgage amount was. That's helpful for potentially knowing how much equity is in a property. Granted, we won't ever know if they're paying more on their mortgage because that's not reported, but it's still a good gauge to have. So it just pulls a bunch of different information. Again, this is a list out of the different financial activities that have happened for the property, and it'll give you estimated values and things like that. Again, make sure you're pulling your own comps, but this is a great source. As you can see, it is branded. So Greta was here, Hardy Hill is here as well, and then there's some additional resources down here. So one thing I do like about this property is, or not this property, this platform, I'm sorry, is the ability to do a CMA in here, because it does a side-by-side. And like I said, it will pull public record as well as, all right, let's go back here real quick. So CMA is where we're looking to go. There we go. It took me to the wrong screen. So confirm facts. So if you're going to a listing appointment, especially since this house sold in 1991, if you've talked to the owner and they're like, oh, well, we've done this, this, and this, we've added a bathroom, we've done whatever, you can update that here and then confirm facts and close. So all it's doing is pulling your public record facts. So if anything has been done to change that, you'll want to change it so that your comps are accurate. Then you're going to go here and hit find comps. And this is going to select what it thinks is a comp to this house. So single family, this is actually a row home, but we'll go ahead and leave that in single family in there as well. There's a lot of different structure types in the city. Within the last 3 months is going to be your default. You can update that to 6 months if you'd like. Bedroom and bathroom square foot amount. And it's only going to search in the area that you have viewable on this map. So keep that in mind. For the city, this should be plenty. But if you are out and their houses are quite a ways away from each other, you're not in a neighborhood, you might need to, all you literally need to do is hit zoom out there. And then this is the area that it'll search. You can also readjust if you're like, oh no, we don't want the West Shore, just the East Shore. And we're going to use basically Midtown and Old Uptown here. So move this around. These will then be your comps. Something kind of interesting, if you're trying to get to a certain number and you kind of have an idea of price, you can actually search for comps in a specific price range. So if you know the area well enough and you say, well, I know it should be at least this, let's see if I can find the comps to support that. You can do that here. City is an interesting area because you will have high prices, low prices, depending on the different areas of the city that you're in. So that might be an option to use there. So once you have that all set, you just come down here and you hit search, and it's going to show you all of the properties. So we went up to 6 months. Since there are so many comps, you might want to narrow that down to 3 months. So we're going to hit modify search there. Last 3 months, we're going to go ahead and research, and that thinned it out just a little bit there. All right, so you're always going to have, if you forget, you're always going to have your comp information up here. So it's going to have your square footage, your bedroom and bathroom, year built, and lot size up here. So come down, just remember that slightly, right? So this is on the lower end, and this is probably not a comp. So this house sold for $36,000. Very likely, it shows you owner is an investment company, right? So this one may look maybe a better comp there. And if you do want to pull up to look through photos, you have an idea of condition, you literally just click on the address of that house, and you can go ahead and scroll through photos to see the conditions of the properties. And the cool thing is it opens a new window instead of taking you to a new screen and having to hit back. So you just X out when you're done with that and you're like, yep, good comp, ready to go. You're going to go ahead and select a few more. Now, obviously, this $4 million sale does not, that's not an accurate comp there. We're going to go ahead and add those different houses. We have quite a range. So once you have the comps that you'd like to use, just because you have a list of 20 comps does not mean you need to use all of them. Just keep that in mind. So update valuation and close. It's going to go here. What it's going to do is give you an estimate of the comps you selected. So it's making an average based on the square footage of the houses. We don't necessarily use square footage or price per square foot how we price houses here as much as they do in some other areas. But obviously a 400 square foot difference is a huge difference. A 50 square foot difference is not necessarily going to make that big of a difference in the price point. So if you would like to come in and adjust comps, you can do that. Just make sure you're confident in what you're doing here. So how does the property compare to the subject? So this is making, if this comp was worse, it's giving you more value. If this comp is better, it's taking away value. If this comp is worse, again, same concept there. Then you just update, it's giving you the adjustments that you made and it's changing this number here. I don't necessarily suggest doing that, making your own gauges once you've seen the house. If you're going to create a report that you're giving to your seller, this page will show up where it shows you a value. So if you are steadfast, you know the value going in, which you probably don't because obviously condition plays a part. You can put a value recommended price here. If you have a range in mind, so say the condition is a C level, this is the price, condition is A level, this is the price, and you can put a range in here. Always keep in mind that if you're giving people a range, they're probably going to say, I want that top of the range always, regardless of what you, explain in that sense. So just be careful with the range that you're throwing in there. Once you update that, you just hit save, and then you can create a report. So seller's report is 81 pages. That is so many pages. Please don't ever give a seller 81 pages because they'll probably, just fall asleep after page 3 or something like that. But this has a lot of good information, and depending on who your seller is, they might want to know different information. So if you click view sample, you can literally walk through each page and what it is. Until you get familiar with the platform, I would suggest run a full seller report, run those 81 pages, and then tier it down from there. So say, okay, well, I don't necessarily need extended home value facts. I don't necessarily need historical photos in here. I don't necessarily need sales and financial activity, price history, health charts and comparisons. You obviously want your comps. That's kind of the whole point of this. I really do like, so it will give you a map version. It'll show you the subject property, and it'll plot the comps that you've selected around that. I think that's a nice little visual. In the ones that you selected for your comp analysis. So I don't always find that necessarily helpful. Same thing with expires. But again, run this full report and then decide what you would like to take out for the future. So once you've figured out what you'd like your report to be, you're going to go ahead and click run report. It'll generate the report in the background. You can X out of this and go on doing anything else in here that you'd like to do in here as well. So another tip that I'd like to go over in RPR is prospecting for clients. So it's going to ask you, buyers or sellers, we'd like to prospect for sellers. Oh, there's the report. It's already telling us. So we're going to go ahead and download that quick. We'll jump back to the prospecting in a second. So it's going to pull the Google Map photo. You can you can put a map or a photo in there if you've taken one. This page is giving you that that estimated value. I would probably get rid of this page until you talk to them or have been in the house, right? Home facts, not a bad thing to confirm with them. It'll give you property history. They already know when they've taken mortgages out on their property, right? So you probably don't necessarily need to keep that in. This will give you a market snapshot based on color. Some people may like that. Some people may not like that. And then here's the comp map. So this is the house and it's showing the comps that have been selected. And this is what I really like about these reports. It's very simple and very easy to read, right? So this is your subject property and it's doing a side-by-side comparison. So it's telling you when the property sold last, it's telling you the days on the market, it's showing you a price per square foot, bedroom, bathroom, living area, square footage, building area, lot size, and then it'll also give you the description if it was in the MLS. And as I mentioned about properties that are public record, this is a prime example right here. So you see there's no MLS number, there's no listing broker information, and there's no description, which means this property was not in the MLS. It was a sale that happened outside of the MLS. We would have never found this if we didn't do comps through RPR, and we only did them through Bright. So keep that in mind if you know something has sold that you're not finding. So RPR is a good source for that. So again, there's other stuff in this report, but this is the bread and butter that I really like. The side by side is very clean to me. It looks great. So we'll click out of that. And then prospecting for clients. So again, we're going to click that. We'll just start over. We're going to hit sellers. It's telling us where to go, literally steps walking us through. We're going to hit research there. I suggest the map search. Makes things a little easier to kind of navigate in here. So say you want to mail a neighborhood, right? Or you're looking for information for people in a certain neighborhood. So it's telling you what to do. Make sure you have residential toggled. Okay, next, enter search area. So you can dial this back a little bit more if you want to search zip code, or if you just want to use this map, that's totally fine as well. So what we're going to do is search in this area. So if you just want to search in the area that you have selected in the map, it's going to give you some information here. So this one is expired. Oh, it looks like I have a filter on. My apologies there. So if you're prospecting, you don't want for sale properties, right? So we're going to go ahead and default that to public record. So if you didn't see what I did there, this more filters button gives you these other options. So public record here, if you like a certain price point, you can do that. If you're looking for strictly distressed properties, so pre-foreclosure, meaning they were Liz Pendens was filed against them, they haven't paid at least 3 mortgage payments, and the mortgage company is filing a Liz Pendens. It's getting recorded at the courthouse, and then that is officially public record. If you're looking for foreclosure or foreclosed properties, you can search them as well. If you want only owner occupied houses, we're going to go ahead and select that. You can even then select time owned. So 0 to 5 years. Yes, some people move within 5 years, but typically that's not necessarily the range that most people stay in a house. So if we're looking 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, or 20 plus, depending on the neighborhood. Again, the more you dial this back, the less results you'll get. So select whichever options you'd like there, and you're going to hit update and search. We still have lots. So it's going to tell you up here 207 properties. So if you're like, that's too many. So you want to dial it in. It's going to, again, adjust to only this view that you have here in the map section. So it's giving you 43 properties. You're like, perfect. I like that. So you can do some mailing labels. So if you'd like to mail to them, if you're going to start prospecting, exclude listed properties, always select that one. That took a few away. We're down to 39 here. It's always going to give you a running total over here. And then you can just hit print there. If you want to if you don't want to do a mailing list, if you want to just download the contacts, you're going to change this over to a CSV file. and you're going to hit export, and then it will download a CSV file for you. And then you'll have that to do with as you wish. If you'd like to create a mailing list elsewhere or create mailers elsewhere, you can absolutely do that. I know we have Express Docs and other platforms that allow you to do that. So you want to hit export, literally just downloads here. We'll show you what that looks like real quick. So it's giving you owner information, owner 1, owner 2, property, full address, and then broken down street, city, state, zip code, and then tax address. So for instance, if they weren't owner occupied and they had their mailing address elsewhere, that's what would show up there. So you can save this, or you can just use the mailing function here. We're going to do those labels. It'll show you exactly how it's going to show up when it sends, and then you would just hit print and it would print those labels out for you. And you can do this in any area, in any neighborhood. If you were on the live training, that's why I'm redoing this, because it can be a little finicky depending on which option you choose. So I'm always going to tell you to choose the map search and find the neighborhood you're looking for. It does also give you this draw option. If you're like, well, yeah, but I just wanted like these couple of streets, you can go ahead and do a freehand done. Search in this area. Cool thing, it shows you the area size that you're mailing to. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of neat. Save this area. You can create a market activity report too. So market activity reports are similar to the reports that we have in MarketQuest V2, the ones that Trisha sends out with the trainings that shows you like, days on market, list the sale price, those types of things. So if you're doing a whole neighborhood or even just like an MLS area, you can select all of that and just get market activity in here as well. But there's tons of cool stuff that can be done in RPR. But these prospecting and the CMA tool are probably the two that I think are the most beneficial to us. So we'll click back. To get back to this home screen, you can either click the Coldwell Banker logo or click home up here at the top. Opportunity zones, again, that'll kind of show you zones that maybe aren't selling as quickly or as often as some of the others. Investor analysis, that's showing you numbers, so return on investment. That's kind of cool to play around with if you aren't terribly familiar to use that. But that's the basics of this platform. There's tons of different reports in here, different marketing options as well. But I think the searching properties, getting information from the properties that you're searching for, CMAs, and then even prospecting for clients are probably the main things that most people will use this platform for. So just wanted to run through that real quick. As always, if you need anything, feel free to reach out to me with any specific questions.